Oh, we have speakers now. Great.
And decreases the amount of
Good. Yeah.
All right, if we can gather back together and have our next presentation. So for our next presentation, we have SmartUp, who recently partnered with Unipro to work on inbound invoices. And I'd like to introduce David Kreitzman.
Thank you. Thank you, appreciate it. Can you guys hear me without the microphone? Is it okay?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me back there without the microphone? Yeah, I'm a pacer. I can't stand still. It doesn't work for me. So a couple of days ago, I was doing my morning routine. I have 3 little children. And my 12-year-old screams down, and these kids know I'm in the AI world. It's what we talk about at the dinner table. And my 12-year-old screams down and says, "Dad, we're out of toilet paper." I said, "All right, honey, let me bring you some." She says, straight face, looking down, "Don't we have an AI for that?" Like, I think AI has invaded, without a doubt, our conversation and our world. So we are SmartUp, and thank you for having us and listening to us. And I know you guys are seeing lots of AI, and there are lots of choices. The one thing I'm going to leave you with before I introduce you to the founder of SmartUp is that simple is better. Okay, let me introduce you to Max Mardones. Max is the founder and CEO of SmartUp. He's going to give you a little snapshot into the company before we start with the presentation.
Thanks, David. Nice to meet you guys. I'm Max Mardones. I'm the founder and CEO of SmartUp. This company was founded with a great vision that was to integrate AI agents into the workflow. We realized that the power that AI could bring to the world and the transformation it could do in business was so great, so we just dived into agents, and we realized we have a great product market fit with the solution we're just gonna show you here. Just brief points. We were Georgia Tech accelerated, then founded by, we got funding in private equity. We're Atlanta based, and we also got Microsoft support and Microsoft for Startups, OpenAI support. So we're partnering with all of the AI giants that can provide us with lots of tools and resources to give you the best solutions that you can. And as it was said in the introduction, we're partnering now with Unipro in order for their business to transform with this amazing tech. David?
Thanks, Max. All right. I personally started in supply chain in 1996 worked for ConAgra. After about 10 years of travel to different companies and industries, I ended up as a Unipro transportation partner, and I was a carrier for Unipro for 12 years. And it was very successful, and I did all the speed dating, meeting 500 people real quick on a boat, or Hard Rock Cafe, or wherever we went, and it was a very successful venture. And 2020, I got out of the industry, supply chain, because I had sold at that time my trucking company, and I started to look for what was next, because my non-compete said I couldn't sell anymore in the trucking space. So I started to look for deficits in the industry, and that's how I connected with my partners, and why I feel that I can certainly feel your pain. I have been there, I have done it, I have sat next to many Unipro members and worked through trials and tribulations. And I think today more than ever, our life is built around the idea that we have to get a new app, a new software, a new portal, a new login, a new username, a new app, a new app, a new app. Our lives have been full of that for years. When AI works successfully, it doesn't make you change anything you're doing. In fact, there's not even training involved in AI. It doesn't have anything to do with each other. AI should work as a good machine does in the background, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it never gets sick. So I'm going to talk a little bit about smart work, but before I do, I want to show you a quick video that we made. It's an animated video. It's very simple, but as I said, simple is better.
Welcome to Smart Order AI. AI has become a force to recognize in the supply chain industry. Solving operational problems is what AI is targeting. Smart Order AI can manage all your order entry needs. Entering data into a software platform is always time-consuming, tedious, and may result in errors. Smart Order AI provides an automated solution that streamlines this process and decreases the amount of time spent entering an order by over 90%. Here's how it works. As you receive an email with an order with 15 different items, Smart Order AI receives that information through your email inbox. Smart Order AI queries the order against your existing real-time inventory and places the order in your software platform. If an item is missing, Smart
I love it when the tech guys screw it up.
I don't know.
It's okay. Go ahead and stop it. I'm going to keep talking.
Yeah.
So what this funny little explanation is doing is conveying a simple concept.
Welcome to
Whoa. You want to try it again in the middle?
No, just go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to keep going. We can gladly share this with you.
Yeah.
The simple concept we're introducing is that a digital image that is found in your inbox, whether it's a POD, a BOL, a load tender, anything within a WMS, TMS, EDI, it doesn't matter, anything that's communicating with you can now be scraped or extracted and put in any platform you have. So imagine if an order comes in from a client, these 5 of this, 10 of this, 8 of this, and it's in your inbox. Typically there's a process for transferring that into your platform, whatever that might be. There's a process for putting it in QuickBooks and all the different steps that come into the whole process of managing an order. So with this simple technology, we can bolt on to any email inbox there is and connect to any software platform you have. Therefore, an email that comes in with an order is automatically created as an order in your ERP, for example. There's no hands to it. SmartUp's Smart Order solution then queries. Doesn't just drop a bunch of information in your ERP and says, here you go guys, good luck. It's querying real-time inventory and saying to your ERP, what do we have or don't have? Because I need to tell the user on the screen not email, not text, right on the screen. The order's fulfilled, it's in there, here's your order number. You're missing 3 of this. You don't have these 3 items. Again, the AI is going to communicate with you and say, what action do you want to take? I'm going to leave it at that. But again, any graphic, it can be a PDF, an Excel. It can also include the body of the email. If someone types in the email, 3 of this, 5 of this, 2 of this, it then takes that data and places it in whatever software platform. And a lot of our clients put the data in multiple platforms. And it's not just a single placement. It's not just the ERP. It can go into your CRM. For instance, I have a trucking company who is taking every BOL that he receives and extracting the shipper's information. A carrier finds that information very valuable, so they could start calling. Hi, we deliver to you every week. Can we work with you? So this particular client is not just extracting, for example, what's on a BOL or a seal number. You know, my favorite, a handwritten seal number on a BOL usually goes to La La Land. With our technology, we're hopefully going to be able to demonstrate that in a second, that information is now converted to usable, measurable data and can be used in multiple places. So not only can you input the seal number, but you can also populate an Excel spreadsheet at the same time with every single shipper's name and any pertinent information you might want. It's intelligent enough to know if a customer sends an email and says, I want 5 cases of my favorite shrimp. The AI knows the order history of the client within your system. It's not asking you a question. It's not getting trained on what that buyer buys. It's looking at order history. And it's filling in the blanks. You might get an order for 410 frozen boneless, skinless chicken breast. And they want organic, but you don't have organic. The AI is smart enough to offer that forward and say to you on the screen, hey, you don't have the 410 regular, but you got organic. If they're desperate, maybe they'll take that. And that's a big part of the power of AI in this conversation, is that it's talking to you about the consequence when things don't work well. It's not just leaving and saying, that didn't work, good luck, guys. I don't know, it's up to you now. The idea is that the AI is going to engage with you, looking at order history, looking at trends in the industry. It's going to make suggestions. Sometimes they're going to be off base initially, but what you'll find is, as you work with it, even a week's worth of work, you will find the intelligence shows up and they figure out how that trend, the AI figures out what trends are happening. But don't get caught up in there's a different SKU number. BOLs are famous for the shipper's SKU number, the shipper's reference number, the shipper's pack style, the shipper's dimensions, whatever. It doesn't work with your system. You call it something totally different. Well, the AI is able to interpret that difference and still create an order in your ERP, QuickBooks, TMS, WMS, CRM. It can go really anywhere. The language that we talk, and I'm sure you've heard it a million times, is API. Right? The API is the method that the software providers that you guys use, they give us permission to come in securely and work with your data. So a lot of people say, what about security? It's not our security, it's the software providers. We're using their mechanism to attach. So we're going to actually do a little demonstration here. You want to go to the next screen, Max?
Yeah.
Oh, one back. There it is. So we're going to see it in action. So what I'd like to show you, to get out of this frame of mind, I need a PDF to create an order in my ERP. I'm going to demonstrate on a piece of paper with a pen. I'm going to write out 3 items that maybe your customer called in and said, 8 of this, 10 of this, 5 of this. And then I'm going to show you how SmartUp AI, how the SmartUp order process takes that image and plops it into an ERP. It's a good visual, and I think it'll drive home the simplicity of this. Yeah. Let me just go over here. I need it to be full.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, so I'm going to write down a few items. We're just going to film this to show you that there's no funny stuff. All right, let me lean on right here. So I'm going to say I'm going to order 10 cases of frozen chicken breast. And I'm going to order 5 cases, 5 frozen cases of chuck roll. Okay. And I'm going to do 10 cases, 10 frozen cases. Shrimp. I'm just keeping it simple for the demo.
Can you grab the phone up 1 second?
Yep. So now we're just going to take a picture of what I've got on this piece of paper, much like we'd be doing if we are taking a PDF or whatever's in your email. Can I go down?
Yeah.
And what Max is going to show you here, and we'll see if it works, is what happens when this image is converted inside an AI chat bot. So this is what we call an agent. This is how we engage with AI. Is there always like nerve-wracking moments when this stuff doesn't work because it should work?
What happens if you don't specify it's frozen?
If you
Like, 'cause
don't,
our customers aren't going to write frozen shrimp, right? They're going to write shrimp.
that's right. So AI knows it's frozen. It's going to look at that inventory. It doesn't just use what you got inside. It uses broader intelligence on the conversation. For example, no one's buying Vietnamese peeled and eating fresh shrimp.
Right.
It's smart enough to do that. And that's something that's so foreign to us. We're so linear. We think one way. There's an automation that happens like this. But with AI, it's allowing you to think. What's happening, your process is thinking. It's not just doing. And I think that's what's quite
What
different.
happens if
about
they
AI.
buy 5 different shrimps, though? How does the AI know if they say, I want 5 cases of shrimp, and I'm buying 5 different things? I'm buying a breaded shrimp, I'm
Right.
buying a fresh shrimp, I'm buying,
Yeah.
right? It's going to have to ask you another question, right?
It's going to ask, it's going to prompt, it's also going to look at order history. It is going to say some things. Look, not everybody gives you a pretty PDF with an order and says it's just like, never works that way,
No.
right? Like you're scribbling at the end of the day, someone calls you as you're walking out the door,
Yeah.
and you start writing. So yeah, AI is smart enough, our AI solution is smart enough to query inventory history. Now look, no one's going to order shrimp breaded and not say I want breaded shrimp. Would you agree? Unless that's their order every time, in which
Right.
case we're going to know.
No, yeah, okay.
But they're not going to say, I want this item for the first time ever, and I want shrimp, and I didn't say bread. They're going to
Yeah.
say bread. But a lot of it is based on the ability to look at all of the previous data and intelligently say, this is what this buyer wants. We identify the restaurant or whoever's placing the order by the email address. Now, just to take it a little deeper than this, we can also look at WhatsApp. We can also listen to your voice. If you're on the phone and you're using an internal phone system and the customer says, I want 5 of this, 6 of this, 8 of this, I can pull that data and I can put it in your ERP and I can talk to you on the screen and tell you what's missing. That's how far it goes. We are talking for this day, we're talking about email because that's how we're engaging in many cases, but there's a lot of telephone work. There's a lot of, here's the order, and you go start typing. So the idea is literally, in this case, you saw, if you wrote down an order and you took a picture of it,
Right.
and you connected it with AI, you're now creating the order without doing anything. In theory. This is not necessarily the point I want to drive home, because I think most orders are coming through some kind of formal validated process, eventually. Like, maybe when you get it, they're calling in the cell phone on the way home in traffic, and you're scribbling down. At some point, there's a transaction coming across. But I just want to remind you, it's not as simple as just a PDF. It could be a conversation. It could be in the body of the email. It can also be in social media. We have many clients who have SmartUp AI monitor what's happening with all kinds of outside sources, but I'll keep it here.
Yeah, just to finish the demo, we can see that we send this picture or an email or whatever contains the order. That's the magic of this, is agnostic to format. You know, buyers can be messy sometimes, and if we don't accommodate for their messiness, then they'll go to the next buyer. But with this, you can make it really comfortable. So here, it detected these products. Then it says like it will look for prices, and it's doing the matching in the inventory. And then we can see that this like actually gets into an ERP or Excel or system extracted with the quantity, the unit value, the specific SKU for that product, etc.
So we're showing you this because this is what happens behind your inbox. Order comes in, PDF, Excel in the body. This conversation is happening with the AI. They are analyzing the data, literally. That's, if you wanted to visually see what's happening in the background, this is what's happening. And it's then in your ERP, if you keep hitting update, you will see the order being manufactured. And it will, if you hit update, it'll put the next piece that's missing, or as it's growing, as it's creating. So this is kind of what happens in the background.
Yeah,
Again, don't be stuck on PDF. It's anything in your inbox.
It's
A picture of a piece of paper, a picture of a napkin. I was at the poultry show a few weeks ago, and people were like giving me things, and I'm writing them down as quick as I can. I got a stack of napkins when I get home. And now I'm taking those napkins and putting them in solutions like this and managing my business.
Yeah, it's important to highlight that this is not just another software solution. In fact, it behaves really different than software. Sometimes clients ask me like, where's the login portal? And this is something that's running in the background. We do provide a dashboarding in which you can have visibility, oversight, and control on how this algorithm is working. But this is really the same as if you would hire a person, really senior, like order taking clerk, and you would need, okay, maybe train him a bit, but then you would let him do the work and just get the benefits. That's the whole spirit of this.
Could this also export out into a file rather than
Yeah,
pushing
you
directly?
could.
Let me give you something tangible. Yeah, there's a great one. So I have a trucking company who gets BOLs back from their drivers, right? Because that's how they're kind of managing payment. And on there, it's all kinds of information. And they take that data and they put it in an Excel spreadsheet with 20 columns. It's a containerized shipment, so there's a lot of in-gate, out-gate, all kinds of different documents flying around. So what we're doing is we're taking that BOL and we're populating about 20 fields in an Excel spreadsheet. And we connect through Google Sheets, because Google Sheets gives us an API to talk to them. So in that example, yes, it can really go to any platform that has got an API engagement, and not just one. So many people get stuck on, well, this is what I want to do. Where else does the data have to go? We can send it there. We're here, we're engaging. Where else can we drop that data? Again, for the trucking company that is looking for BOLs, they're also getting the list of every shipper that's on the BOL with the phone number and an address and whatever information they want mapped off of the visual, off of the image, into their system or multiple systems. Before I go on to the next product, because we only have 3, and all of our solutions are bolt-on. We don't require you to be a previous member or working with some kind of software platform. We really don't care. Our solutions attach to any platform, both on your side with your ERP as well as your vendors that you're using for various solutions. Are there any questions about Smart Order before I move on? Yeah.
Well, and I'm sorry if you said this, but if it, if it's reading this and then it's not sure, like there's multiple items for that first shipment, what does it do?
So we're going to call that in the fancy mad scientist language over there, exceptions. There's always exceptions as we start. This word, this pack size, this import code, whatever, we don't recognize it on the screen in real time. Not go find it, not log in, not look at your email, but on the screen in real time. How do you want us to manage this? We don't have an answer for this.
Right.
However, what you will find is that it only happens once. Imagine only training an employee one time to manage an exception. You'd be like, no way. This is very much what the AI does. It learns it once, it takes that smart intelligence, and it applies it throughout its whole engagement with you.
Although sometimes we don't even need to reach like an exception level, because there will be sometimes that even the client doesn't know what kind of chicken breast he wants. So we'll identify first, like, do we have any previous preference? Has the client always chosen one type specific of chicken breast? If that's the case, then we're probably going to recommend that. If not, we're going to say, look, we have different breast options, and you can be consultative on the sale. What do you need the chicken breast for? Do you need them frozen? Do you need them fresh? and it could talk to you through email chain, email interaction, until it both aligns the order intention and the product availability in the system. That's the magic of this. It lives off context, as we humans do, you know? We don't need to go look at all of the previous past orders of a client to understand context, and that's what this AI generated models really, really shine with.
Yeah. Did that answer your question about the exceptions? That's the word we use. Any other questions before we move on? Yeah.
So I noticed in the demo you didn't have a way of defining who the customer was, so I guess you have to depend upon the ERP to tell you, hey, I need a customer number on this or something.
No, email address is one, because we're connected to your system, so we know that the customer file has a name, and if not, it identifies it by the domain, right? Smith's restaurant has smiths.com, so there's intelligence behind identification. Again, if it's not sure on the screen, it's going to say, hey, we AI think that this belongs to this restaurant, please confirm. Done. Now, it doesn't take long, because again, you're not typically getting a new person placing an order. It's someone who's historically been doing something. It might be historically 1 month, but you have some kind of data to lean on. And that's what AI is leaning on. It's leaning on all of the interactions you've made with the customer, because it's evaluating the inbox, what's coming in, what the language is, and then it's inputting it into the ERP, and it's comparing and contrasting past performance on each side. Again, where did Melissa at Smith's restaurant show up from? You've never seen her before. It's going to be on the screen, and that's important. We don't want you going to look for it. It's got to push it right in front of your face and say, here's what you're dealing with. What do you want to do?
So the other thing is, I can see this, I mean, I can see this working, but in our company, we never released an order like this before we reviewed it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so how do I know? So I guess, is there a way that you would put the order and whatever document that you got the order from next to one another so that the human can compare it? Or how does
For
that work?
sure, we can provide, as Max talked about, what we're used to calling a dashboard, right? It's the visibility. I've got a trucking company, a client who has 3,000 orders a week. There is no way that someone is sitting there. Here's what we found. If you have a talented, administrator who's keying your orders, and that talented administrator became successful because she could put in 80 orders a day and everybody else could do 60, or she could do 100 when everybody else did 40. So this amazing, talented person is exceptional, but now that same 60 or 80 orders can be managed by that same person who's got her eyes on the process to 5,000 orders a day.
Let me just add that if we detect some orders that maybe had some exceptions, or there were some problems, or maybe the document wasn't well scanned, so there is a level of uncertainty, we can definitely flag the orders that we think may need manual revision, and the orders that we're sure 100% that they're from a regular buyer, and this is usually one of the regular orders, then we can let it flow. So we understand that orders sometimes can be big, and leaving this to an automated system, it gives fear. So we can have the amount of control we want. Normally we start with clients that have a lot of manual oversight, and they realize that they want to let go, but it takes time.
There's something fascinating about the AI piece, and people usually ask it. I was waiting. An order comes in, an order gets changed 3 times. Not uncommon, right? They start out with that, oh wait, my chef screwed, whatever. The AI is smart enough to not only take the first order, but every iteration that's connected to that first order. So as things change, as things move, as the customer says, well, pick up this product, this is the product I want, it's at this warehouse, bring it here. Oh no, it's at a different warehouse, those things change in conversation in real time. So the AI, if it can engage with the conversation, if it can engage with the email, if it can engage with the image, it will continually update in real time whatever's evolving. The challenge comes in, just so you know, like the place where we stop is your cell phone. In the United States, we are not able to integrate with your cell phone to scrape your telephone conversations or your text messages or SMS. We are blocked from that. So that's why I say To record voice calls and create an order, that takes someone's internal phone system, like a VoIP phone system. And we use that heavily for call centers because they're measuring what's happening moment to moment.
I think it's a good transition.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
SmartUp.
Any more questions before we transition to the next of the 3 products we're going to demonstrate today?
Is there any future to get SMS text into?
Yeah, we're heavily planning on it.
Yeah, we all are.
Basically, all of the players in the space, they're facing the same regulations, and we don't want to go over regulations, but SMS is already in the plans, and calls, most businesses use voice IP, central system, so yeah, we're getting it.
But we are aware salespeople run around, right? Salespeople, they're on the phone, they're grabbing it on the phone, they're waiting from their desk, they're traveling, whatever. So it is coming. WhatsApp, which is a big international product, we work in South America and in Europe. WhatsApp is a big communication point all over the world, and we do scrape WhatsApp. So we can take an order within WhatsApp and plop it into your ERP and query the inventory that's there.
We've seen like all levels of formality in this order process. Like you're talking here about a PDF in an email, but we've also seen like chefs directly in the restaurant kitchen, closing the restaurant and sending a WhatsApp audio, getting the produce fresh for next day. And there's a funny story where there wasn't a product available, and the AI, it said, wait, but what recipe do you need this product for? I can offer a replacement if you explain me the recipe, and we can save the menu for the next day. So these are all like little nuances that using AI brings us, and it makes the wholesale more consultative, not just this order-taking mechanism.
Yeah. A chef sent us, our system, a picture of an item the other day. Said, I want this. Can the AI figure that out? And it did. If I took a picture of a mountain and I said, give me a history of this mountain, it would find that it was Mount Everest, and it would tell me the story about that mountain. So that power of imagery is what a lot of smart order is based on. Any more questions about smart order before we pivot to another topic?
Back to Tim's question real quick.
Sure.
So if your ERP accepted images, I mean, you guys could still, via the API, push the order in as well as the image that drove the order.
We could upload it.
Right?
Yeah. Last
Absolutely.
evidence, basically.
Right.
Yeah. And again, you guys, I have a warehouse that says, well, we don't have a way to really organize all of our BOLs. We got 300 deliveries a day. We have to stack. How do we manage that right now? Someone's sitting there typing information in. Now they scan it in to a folder that they create on their Google Drive, and we directly extract from the folder and plop it in this case, it's a warehouse management software. Datex is the name. It goes into their MS, and no hands required once it's in the designated place. So don't get hung up on just the inbox. It can be really any designated storage, iCloud, whatever, doesn't matter. As long as we can get access to it, we can then engage with the data. Louis, anything else? All right, we're going to move on to VOC. It's a little big brother. I'm just giving you guys a cringy part of it. It's a little big brother. Kind of watching what we're doing. VOC stands for Voice of Customer. And what's happening in our businesses, especially as managers, as people who have employees, as HR folks, anybody who's overseeing a bigger picture, the transactions in your business happen every day, all the time. Things are happening. An order ships, an order delivers, an orders get damaged, there's a claim, there's a shortage, there's an overage, there's a pricing error. These are all things you guys deal with all the time. And what do the salespeople do, for example? They don't quickly tell you, oh, my truck was late again. They'll just solve the problem. Maybe they're going to get a new carrier. Maybe they don't care. But generally, the people managing the process, they fix it. But you don't know what happens when all these things are happening, these deficits in your process. So what Voice of Customer does is it monitors both your email and your telephone conversations. And it's extracting metrics that you decide to extract For example, how many times, how many conversations did a group of emails have? You can designate, you designate everybody. Most companies do. They'll just say my entire platform. How many times is there a conversation about damages? And you don't have to use the word damage. It's not like Outlook rules with a trigger. It's contextual. It's listening to the conversation. It's analyzing the conversation, analyzing the thread. So it's taking all of your emails, it's summarizing them, it's saying there were 36 conversations about late trucks this month. There were 17 conversations about pricing errors. There were 9 conversations about a competitor who has a better price than yours. All information as a manager, as a leader, you'd love to know what the heck's happening because your salespeople are pounding the door to sell something. They're not necessarily paying attention to what's important to you. So VOC, Voice of Customer, is an AI that connects to your inbox and it connects to your telephone system and it can report back trends that are occurring of any measurement you want. Again, these are not single words we're looking for. We don't need the word damage or the word shortage to understand that's what they're talking about. Hey man, you never sent me those 6 cases. In the old days, there's no trigger. No one said damage. No, that's lost. With an AI, it's contextually understanding the conversation. It's not looking for a word. This kind of data becomes extremely valuable when you have lots of people doing lots of things and you really want to know what problems your company's having. For instance, Americold uses a VOC solution to manage their trucker reviews. Americold gets thousands of bad trucker reviews on Google. Thousands, sometimes a day. And it became so overwhelming and it mattered so much to them that they employed an agent, an AI that connects to Google through an API. And now they have an agent communicating with in real time. As soon as someone complains about something, it doesn't just say, like the old days, oh, we see you have a complaint. What is it about? That's not the way AI is. AI addresses exactly what the problem is. It gives case study examples of how it's been remedied. And the person who's remedying the problem. Because it's trained on your data, it's looking at your data, it's engaging with you. So Americold invested freaking thousands to have this engagement, just on reviews, because it mattered so much to them that people were saying so many bad things. I mean, I could throw Lineage Logistics under the bus as well, but we'll stick with Americold today. So there's a variety of data. We drew some up here, to kind of show you guys. Go ahead.
I'm going to explain a bit what you're seeing here. This is a general dashboard. So what we're doing here is that every conversation, it actually gets a really deep analysis. Like if you hired a customer service consultant and gave them the recording of one sales call or something with a problem and tell him, give me a report of this conversation. I want to have, all the info. So what we're seeing here is the general dashboard that collects all of these different individual reports and pack them into useful, insightful, actionable info. And this dashboard, this is not general. We'll build and customize this dashboard for each one of your needs and the things you want to measure. So it's not like you're stuck with predefined metrics, old school metrics like, I don't know, average response time or how many interactions did it take into this, or like basic sentiment analysis where it's just detecting keywords. This actually has a really deep. And here we're seeing, what could be this really deep oversight into one conversation. So
This is one email?
Yeah, this is one email, one conversation summary. So it says this conversation between Sarah and Bistro Delight and John from Fresh Foods concerns a late delivery that arrived 3 hours after the scheduled time, causing disruption to the restaurant. Lunch preparation, it expressed frustration about the lack of communication and the apology that the wholesaler did. You could see the impact in customer satisfaction that this had. The resolution timeline, so from when it was identified to the initial response, the details that were provided, if it was resolved or not, the similar incidents that you can then map and start to get a better picture.
I just want to point out, this is a very granular look But if we took you behind the scenes of monitoring 87,000 emails your company sent in a month, this is the point at which AI is monitoring that data. If you wanted to know, let's say you want to know, why are my trucks always late to this location? Well, the salesperson is responsible for that location. So you could go look at the engagements of the salesperson and say, hey, why are you always talking about late trucks? Again, we're talking about big data here. And really that's what's more valuable to me as someone who has lots of employees is I don't have time to monitor every transaction. But if you were to get granular, this is what you could dive into and how deep you could go. Now, a lot of people use this tool to monitor salespeople. I have a large insurance company. He hires 200 salespeople a year because he has such high turnover. And he wants to monitor how they engage with the customer. Can you go back up to the customer satisfaction?
Sure. The general view or the specific?
The graph one, the one that showed the graph. No, it's on here, yeah, right here. So I asked Max as we were building this, how do you come up with a customer satisfaction track? Like, who's plugging in those metrics? It's literally conversations that your salespeople or whoever's engaging with the customer is having. Is there a good tone? Is there a bad tone? Is it a short conversation? Was there a problem brought up? Did they talk about a baseball game? And that's how it's thinking. How would I judge customer satisfaction as a salesperson? I'd be looking at all the things that I do to engage with them. If they talk to me more, I would say there's better customer satisfaction. When they give me orders, there's better customer satisfaction. So customer satisfaction is literally looking at your 87,000 emails and saying, was there lots of good engagement? Was there lots of bad engagement? What was the context of the conversation? Not what was the key word.
If we were recording phone calls, we do the same thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's actually the main use case. We work with some call centers outside the distribution space, but 100,000 hours a month of transcription is the biggest volume we do, so lots of calls.
Any questions about voice of customer? That's the second product, and then we'll move on to our final.
You did say it has to be on, it can't be via cell phone, so your sales team would have to be in a call center.
Well, so
or
a
on
lot.
the system.
Or a VoIP phone system, right? An internalized phone system that they're calling on, or they're using an app from their device to call instead of their main phone. But yes, unfortunately, we're not there. But I would say in the next 12 to 18, we'll start to see this conversation because, as Max said, everybody's pounding on this door, trying to get it to work. Go ahead.
So is it looking at every email communication, or can you selectively narrow it down?
So you can set different tags where you want something to be ignored. It happens sometimes that salespeople wrongly use their business email for personal use, and we can really identify when something is really not related to work. We'll actually protect the privacy of the person, but you would get notified that there are personal conversations being done in your business email. And you can also trigger different metrics or analysis depending on what's the topic in the email. So maybe all of the post-sale customer service interactions you want to analyze one way, but the pre-sale order handling interactions you want to analyze a different way.
The dashboard can be built to design any analysis you want. So if you say, I only want these 13 emails monitored, done. That's what that measurement can do. I own other companies, and my partners always want to measure what each partner is doing. We're owners, right? We've got lots of employees, but we want our own accountability. So we have our emails connected there so that we can measure our own metrics. It's transparent because someone got angry because they thought we weren't working as hard as them. So there's lots of ways to do it. But yeah, it's highly malleable. You can set up all kinds of lists, limitations, different dashboards, and the engagement is friendly. It does not require a degree to build. However, we get very involved, not just in day one as we're building out, but ultimately, 2 years down the road when you want to tweak something, you're going to talk to us.
How long does this take you guys to play before it starts being nice and useful?
VOC is a very quick turnaround because connecting to these things is very easy, so you could possibly see this type of solution capable of demonstrating your real environment within 8 to 10 days.
I'd say the longest is not like the tech implementation, but actually deciding what do you want to measure.
Yeah.
Our clients' brain literally expand when they realize that they can measure about anything they would make a consulting
It's
measure.
quick. It's very quick. It's hardly that particular transaction is quick. When we go to Smart Order, asking the same question, how long does it take? Depending on the complexity of the integration with the different software platforms.
And the amount of exceptions.
Yeah, Microsoft Dynamics, for example, we do a lot with that. And there's some finesse there. It's a bit more complicated. Where Datex or QuickBooks, it's brief. It happens in a second. But generally speaking, we're going to guarantee 30 days or better. Unipro, for example, probably took us 36 days because we had some trouble with getting something to talk properly. We figured, yeah, it's a quick turnaround. We're not looking at months at all. You know, and there's no tutorial for you. We don't believe in that. What you want, we will do. Talk to us. Talk to us. Any more questions about VOC before I go to the last solution? Okay. So thinking about what we demonstrated regarding an image, right? An image came in for Smart Order, and it was all of a sudden in your ERP. It was all of a sudden in your QuickBooks. It was all of a sudden on a spreadsheet. Smart pricing follows that principle. So when I was a trader, I worked for a company out of California called Large Wholesale, and I sold beef, pork, chicken, goat, hen, lamb, mutton, squab, you name it, I sold it. I bought it frozen, held it, tried to sell it, for more, or I did a direct shipment. But I got price sheets in from everybody I could think of. Back then, believe it or not, a little bit of fax mixed in there. But as we progressed, we started to get emails. But so I was overwhelmed with 10 beef suppliers, 8 chicken suppliers, 17 shrimp suppliers, 9 oil suppliers, 6, whatever. I was getting so much stuff. It got to the point where I couldn't even look at it. So I took my top 2 guys that I liked ordering chicken from and beef from and shrimp from, and I didn't really look at anything else because that's what I liked. But man, I would have loved to have had the ability to analyze all that data and know, well, I've been buying chuck rolls from this guy for the past 4 years, and holy crap, this other guy I've never even heard of is like $1 under. What gives? Like, is he selling cow? Like, how did that happen? So the idea behind smart pricing is that an email comes in with a price sheet in your inbox, all of them, and smart pricing extracts the data from the inbox and creates a dashboard. Vietnamese shrimp, IBP chuck rolls, ocean garden and shrimp. And now you're seeing all of the data summarized for you. Here's the thing that gets difficult to understand, but it is mind-blowing. Once we've got the pricing and the AI, our AI solution is very talkative. It wants you to talk to it. It's weird, but it wants you to talk to it. So once you've got, let's say you picked up 30 price sheets. On a Monday, it's a big day to price the week. Once the data is in there, you can talk to the AI and literally, your words, what's my best price on peeled and deveined 1620 shrimp for Vietnam? I've got 9 vendors. Who's the best one? Can you build a pie chart for me? I have to show my boss all the different products that are and what their best prices are. Can you build a bell curve? Can you build a report? Remember, what are we doing with reports? We're going and we're clicking and we're drop downing and we're Excelling and we're sorting. Once smart pricing has the data, you're able to engage with the data by talking to the data. What was the best price on 1620 peeled and deveined shrimp from Vietnam in 2024? It was this month. Can you show me a trend of pricing for 1620 peeled and deveined shrimp? So imagine reporting is as complicated as your conversation. That makes sense? It follows along the lines of Smart Order, but just like talking to your data is feasible within smart pricing, it is also available within VOC, and it's also available within Smart Order. So once the AI has captured the data, you can now engage with the data. And that digs into a deep hole, but I am presenting it because it's a powerful component of what AI can do sees what it needs to see, it gives you ways to work with it, to massage it, to create it. You know, before I came here, I went to ChatGPT and I said, what is the value of the company, the revenue of the company of every single person who's here tonight? Because I had this grand idea that I was only going to talk to the biggest guy. No clue. My point is, I was able to use chat to extrapolate that type of data. I was engaging at that level, and that's very similar to what you would be doing, engaging with SmartUp Price Sheet, is you would be talking to data and pulling out who's been the cheapest packer for boneless, skinless thigh meat, 410 CVP in the United States in 2023. And that data is there because the AI is seeing. And that follows true for anything. Accountants are using this. Doctors, dentists, chiropractors, lawyers, blown up with this kind of stuff. And it all works. Most of our solutions, in case you're now picking up the trend, is very agnostic. It doesn't really matter if it's food. I have a guy who gets like 4,000 W-2s in a month. He's had some lady sitting there typing away. Well, now it just goes right into his accounting platform from his inbox. So it really doesn't matter what. I have another client who bought SmartOrder, and now they're taking their timesheets from their employees and plopping them in their QuickBooks because they wanted to find another way than typing the hours from the two programs because they didn't play nice. So it's quite a broad idea that we're presenting. We focus on supply chain. That is our sweet spot, that is our success, that is the language we talk. So that's my presentation. Does anybody have any questions about Smart Price Sheet? All right, well that's it, you guys. Thank you for spending some time listening to my story here. Yeah.
Have you considered using your platform for FSMA 204 where people are dumping POs into your system and it's extracting lot codes?
Absolutely. People are taking, as I said, you're writing down an order,
Right.
dumping it into an inbox. You could email it to yourself. You could take a picture and send it to yourself. Now it's part of that extraction process.
But these are inbound POs from all their distributors or vendors
Oh, yes.
pulling out specific lot codes.
Absolutely. In fact, that's part of our kind of process with Unipro is we are taking a tender from a member and creating both a PO and an order with the same data coming in. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's a good question.
Basically, any input and any output, we're the black box in the middle that will plug the logic that you want, the business logic that you want in it, and we'll get results. Just to finish up, I want to add that it's amazing what's happening here, that business interaction is going conversationally again. Business, like in the ages, was always done conversationally. Hey, do you have this? No, I have this. No, I have that. And when like food service started to scale and get a big industry, we started to add all of this cumbersome e-commerce platforms. And like first we started out with EDI and we started building all of this tech abstractions in order to keep things standardized, in order to make scaling possible. Because if you had an interaction, a conversation with each and every client with the same focus, then you wouldn't be able to scale. But we're transitioning into an era where conversational is the way to go, but now not powered by ourselves, but by SmartUp's AI.
I want to give you just quickly a leaving thought. I have a client who was using SmartOrder. They purchased another company. They came to us and they said, do we need to, what do we need to do? Do you have an employee that put in the orders? Yeah. Well, that's all you need to do. They bought a $32 million company to add onto their company, and they did not hire a person to do data entry. Because that one good person they had, that talent, goes from entering 80 orders a day to monitoring 5,000. Simple is better, you guys. If anybody in the AI world is saying you gotta buy this, you gotta log into this, you gotta go here, you gotta look there, you gotta sign up for this, it's not the way it's supposed to work. It's supposed to take every solution you have and be friendly with it. All right, thank you for having me, everybody. Thanks for listening to SmartUp.
One
Oh
more
wait, question,
one
sorry.
So,
Sorry.
so you have 3 products that you've got packaged and ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys, from looking in the future, are you open to doing other
Sure.
concepts?
So the great thing about all of our products is that they're based on a basic building block, which is called the SmartUp AI agent. The SmartUp AI agent is really customizable to any business flow, and we can even make these AI agents interact within themselves. So we can build this really complex mesh of interconnected AI interactions. But these products that we have ready to go, they have an extra layer of easy UI, usability, there's ready to go prompts. So if you want custom development and have a business case that doesn't really fit in, or maybe you think it goes a little bit off the edge, but it's based on the same principles of data extraction, conversational commerce, and software interaction, then sure, we can do it.
Louis, almost 50% of the time that occurs. We start with, here's what we want. Can it do this? Well, could it work there? And that's kind of how the box gets opened and started.
So flexibility is
Highly flexible, for sure. And again, it doesn't really matter where it fits. It fits to any communication form that you're trying to move data around. All right?
Thank you.
Sorry?
What's your pricing model?
Oh, thank God someone asked about pricing. We're gonna get out of here without talking about money. This is awesome. They just want to spend whatever we got. Look, a range. A client moves 3,000 orders to an Excel spreadsheet every week and updates. It's actually taking in additional data and changing what it says. We charge that client $1,500 a month to move 3,000 orders a week. Excuse me, yeah, $1,500 a month, 3,000 orders a week. The more orders, the more transactions is how the dollars are built. So we have, Unipro's case, we have 1,500 orders a week. However, very complex because it's working with Microsoft Dynamic. The guy who was paying 1,000, he was going into Google Sheets. Very, very, very simple. So the range in our case, I don't know how many orders you guys have, if it's 3,000 or 50,000, but it's based on the number of orders. So again, for 3,000 a week going into Excel, 1,500 a month. For 1,500 a week in Unipro's case, with Microsoft Dynamics, which is more complicated, it's $2,500 a month. Most of our clients are between $3,000 and $1,000 is about the monthly dollar. And there's no user identification. You guys come from a place where you're very used to being charged per user. It's not about the user. You can have 1,000 users. It's about how many of something are running through the system, how many processes are started. We call them prompts. Each prompt is an order. How many prompts? So if we price you at this price for 3,000 orders or 3,000 prompts, and you start showing up at 5,000, well, there's a mechanism to analyze that and adjust pricing. Does that answer your question about pricing, kind of the range? Yeah. It's a hard thing. It's really, everyone is a little different with what they're doing, and then they're going into multiples, so their price is representing 3 software APIs. So, but that's a range, around $1,000 to $3,000, something like that. Anything else? All right, Rich and Louis and Unipro, you guys, thanks for having us, and to all the members. I very much have wonderful memories of the years and the pain of shipping your freight. Thank you.
Okay, one more thing. So we're all invited to scan the QR code and get in contact with us, have a meeting, get one-on-one conversation. Okay, there's a lot more that we can show you, that we can do together. It's a very fun industry, okay? And so feel very comfortable to speak with us and to be our consultant, AI consultant, okay? So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day. You guys are done, right? This is
AI
the
do work. You're gonna rest.
Thanks, Louis. Thank you very much. Thanks, man.
Appreciate it.
I use it.
if someone wants to have a one-on-one conversation right now, we're also free to do it.